fourth installment of the Bad Boys franchise doesn't come out until June 6th, of course, but a number of screenings for the film took place last night, and the first reactions are out. Some seem to love the new film. Some even suggest it might be the best one yet. John, what do you make of the Bad Boy reactions?
I got to tell you, they're really strong. They're like, I was reading over them and they're really, really good. Now look, first reactions, we've talked about this before, right? When the review embargo isn't lifted and you can just make a quick first reaction, you got like one tweet you can put out, you tend to focus more on the positive. Now, more times than not, the full reviews do line up with the early reactions, like Madam Web. Those lined up. Furiosa, the early reactions for Furiosa have lined up with the actual full reviews. We'll talk about Furiosa a little bit later. But every once in a while, they're really different. Like the new Ryan Reynolds film, If, got really strong first reactions, but right down the middle, full reviews, right? So most of the time they're right on, sometimes not so much. So keep that in mind as we read through some of these first reactions to Bad Boys Ride or Die. They're very good. We're going to start off with our friend Brandon Davis, who writes, Bad Boys Ride or Die is phenomenal. I love the Bad Boys franchise. This one raised every bar. It's nonstop hilarious, innovative action beats, so much chemistry with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. The best time I've had at the movies in a while. That's coming from Brandon Davis. Absolutely loved it. Ryan's wrote, Bad Boys Ride or Die is a delight. Drew Taylor wrote, Bad Boys Ride or Die is a total blast. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are still great at busting each other's balls. The new mystery is compelling. Eric Dane is a great baddie. And Adil and, I always mispronounce their names, Bilal's action sequences are loaded with inventive staging and camera work. Bad Boys forever. All right. There was one I found that was not so positive from Russ Milheim, who wrote, Bad Boys Ride or Die, sadly, not the movie for me. But, remember, this is coming from somebody who didn't like it. It seems lots of fans of the franchise will enjoy it, and the audience I watched the movie with were having a blast. So he's saying, I didn't like it, but everybody around me seemed to be liking it. Bill Bria wrote, Bad Boys Ride or Die is a total blast. It's crazy how Adil and Bilali have tapped into the strong emotional core of this series without sacrificing any of its insane fun. Smith and Lawrence bring their A game. The supporting cast step it way up. Reggie and shit blows up real good. And basically, it just goes on and on and on. A lot of the reviews or the reactions reading saying I thought 3 was the best and this is better than 3. And saying, I thought 2nd was the best, and this might be better than the 2nd. So look, I'm going to admit, I'm not the biggest Bad Boys fan. I like them. I really had a good time with 3. 3 was actually my personal favorite. I had a blast with 3. And I'm looking forward to 4. But listen, reading these types of first reactions is exactly the kind of reactions I think that Bad Boys fans wanted to hear. The chemistry is still there. It's funny. The action is great. And everybody had a blast. What more can you ask for from a franchise called Bad Boys? Now, the one question that I think is going to be on everybody's mind. While we already did have Emancipation with Will Smith following the Oscar slap heard around the world, and that obviously suffered a lot because of that, this is really the first big outing for Will Smith on the big screen in the years that have followed since the Oscar slap. Now, I contend that Will Smith should have faced consequences for his actions, and that he did take consequences for his actions. He lost out on a number of projects. He was globally, publicly humiliated in front of the entire planet, and he lost out on a lot of money. And it was a couple of years ago. And it's time for him to move on. It's time for the audience to move on. And let's get back to enjoying Will Smith in the movies again. Now, not everybody's going to feel that way, Rob. And I do wonder if the box office might still suffer a little bit from that. But I think the time has passed. I think we are well past that now. I think it's time for Will Smith to get back to what he's doing. Anyway, you're hearing these first reactions. What do you think about them? Are you excited about the movie? And is the movie-going audience ready to go back and see Will Smith again?
Well, first of all, I like this franchise as well. I think Bad Boys 2 might be the most gloriously overblown, overproduced movie I've ever seen, and I loved it. And, I like to see these 2 directors come back. They directed Batgirl, that was shelved.
Yep, it was good to see them come back.
They did Bad Boys for life.
They did a bunch of Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, they did some Miss Marvel, and I like to see their careers moved back on track. I think that's great. And this is a franchise. Look, man, I miss that buddy cop action comedy that was popularized in the 80s, and this is kind of a remnant of that. It's still chugging along, so I love to see that. You know, I'm hoping Axel Foley will come back and also be as good as this seems to be, or people like it as much. I hope so. But as far as Will Smith goes, I got to say, dude, I love Will Smith. I've always loved Will Smith. I've loved him as a screen presence, whether he was in Independence Day or Enemy for the State or, you know, movies like what it was at 7, was it 7 Pounds? What was it? He's done a lot of things dramatically that I thought was great. And I don't think any man, first of all, the assault heard around the world, you don't escape that. Like you said, he suffered. And then what went on with his wife and how he had to have his marriage laid bare for the world to hear about. I don't think any star of his magnitude or caliber, and he is a tremendous actor, he's
an Oscar winner.
And has had to deal with, call it public humiliation in the town square. I mean, it wasn't exactly Cersei Lannister walking nude, having feces thrown at her when people are going shame.
In a way, it was worse because she never had cameras on her for everybody else in all the kingdoms to watch it happen.
Around the world.
Will Smith did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love seeing this. I want Will Smith to come back. I think he deserves it. And I think, you know, our justice system is based on the idea that when you have served your time and you have done what it is you are required to do, that you get to start again. And we're not so good about doing that. And I think Will Smith deserves it. And, you know, you can be cynical all you want about, oh, Hollywood stars, but he's a man too. And I think he's a great performer, and he brings a lot of joy, at least to my life and to a lot of other people's lives. So you go, Will Smith. I hope Bad Boys Ride or Die rides forever.
Yeah. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Miracle Made. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. When they arrived at our house, my wife Ann loved the feel of them so much, she couldn't even wait for me to get home to put them on our bed. Miracle Made has self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. Miracle Sheets also have incredible comfort and quality. Miracle Sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. So go to TryMiracle, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you will get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to TryMiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. I'm looking forward to seeing this a lot, and I think he's got to be given a chance to come back now. I think he's paid the price. He paid a hefty price now. But I gotta comment on this. Somebody in the live chat, I lost who said it, but somebody in the live chat said, I think the Oscars banning him for 10 years was overkill. No, it wasn't. Let me bring it a little bit more down grounded, a little bit more to home. If I have a throw party for my wife Ann here at the house for her birthday, right? And you're one of our invited guests, and you go up and you physically assault one of my other invited guests, you're not only never coming back to my house, you're getting the shit kicked out of you before you leave.
Yeah.
Like, you attack one of my guests at my house, forget a 10-year ban. You and me are, what was Tom Hatherford say? Dunzo. You and me are dunzo. I honestly, listen.
You play hockey.
Yeah. Yes. The Oscars banning him for 10 years for going in front of a global audience, humiliating their show, going up on stage and attacking one of the presenters. Listen, 10-year ban is light. That is light. And again, I don't think he should be banned from movies. I'm glad he's coming back, and I'm excited to see Bad Boys 4. But yeah, 10-year ban from the Oscars was not light. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.